Welcome back everyone, this is Frank with Frank Collecting, and we are on part 2 of our top 10 Final Fantasy TCG eBay sales as of February 5th, 2022. So without further ado, let's get right back into it. First up on our list today is this Final Fantasy TCG Opus 1 booster box. This was the very first booster box that was released for the Final Fantasy TCG. Now there is a Wave 1 version of this product where there were some errors on cards that were eventually fixed. But from my research so far, it seems to be very difficult to tell if an Opus 1 box is Wave 1 or a future wave. As far as I'm aware, the only way to tell is to actually look at the single cards and see if you have any of those error cards that were later errated. A very respectable price, $575. It does look like $500 to $600 is the going rate for these boxes. It is a pretty cool collector's item with Lightning from Final Fantasy 13 right there on the front. If you're looking for the best of sealed, it looks like this Opus 1 booster box is the way to go. Okay, next up on the list, we're actually going to look at some singles from the Final Fantasy TCG Opus 1 booster box. First up, we have this PSA 10 Sephiroth Legend Foil. Now what's interesting about the Opus 1 is that there were no full arts at this time, so we are only looking at the regular legendary holos, and I think it comes as no surprise that Sephiroth would be on the list. He is a tremendously popular Final Fantasy villain from Final Fantasy VII, which is one of the most popular games in the franchise. Now it'll be interesting to see how these cards hold up over time. I think a lot of premium is due to the fact that they are from the first set. However, they are not full art, and I don't really know what the print run of these would be compared to full art cards, and there are full art versions of Sephiroth and some of these other Opus 1 holos. And given all the craze around full arts and other TCGs, I wonder if one's money is better spent on some of these full art versions, even though they are from more recent sets. Again, that is only my speculation, and the fact that they are from the very first Final Fantasy TCG set may be enough to make their premium last. We have another Opus 1 legendary foil in the form of Cloud here. Again, the main character from Final Fantasy VII, and you can see for just a non-graded Near Mint Raw card, it went for $221.50. So I would imagine that it would have a larger premium placed on it if it were to be a PSA 10 versus the Sephiroth we just looked at, which went for just a little bit over this Raw card. Again, no full arts during this time, and I would imagine Cloud is going to be sort of like the Charizard for this set. However, keep in mind that there are probably a lot of near mint, very clean copies of this card out there compared to, say, in vintage Pokemon, where the majority of those cards are in much worse quality. Also, in my experience, the print quality of these cards is very good. So I actually think that if you're willing to gamble a little bit, there is a very good chance that you can pick up a near mint card and get a very high grade if you were to grade this card. Again, there have been a couple of these Clouds in full art form in later sets, so those may be other options to look at if you're interested in getting some Cloud cards. The last card for our Opus 1 block is this Lightning Opus 1 foil. This is not a legendary, it looks to be a regular rare card. However, you can see that it went as a PSA 10 for $395.35, which surpassed the Sephiroth legendary foil card. This is really interesting. I think it shows the popularity of Lightning as a character. She is a more recent Final Fantasy character coming from the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. I do think she is a very cool character, and you might also consider looking at the full art version of Lightning from the recent Opus 13 Crystal Radiance set. I think there is a very bright future for that card personally. Anyways, I guess this is her rookie card from the Final Fantasy TCG, and carrying a well-deserved premium for a very cool character. Okay, last but certainly not least, we do have that full art Lightning card from Opus 13 Crystal Radiance. I do have high hopes for this card. Again, Lightning is a very popular recent character from Final Fantasy. This is a beautiful full art card. This actually went for less than what you can find it for on TCG Player at this current time, and the reason I think that is it came graded as a BGS 9. Now usually Final Fantasy cards are, in my experience, very well printed, so maybe this was a played card or somehow it got scuffed around the edges somewhere. So in this case, I think you're actually going to see it be very undervalued compared to the fact that most Final Fantasy cards are going to be in very good quality. you could almost crack this out of the case and sell it more for a raw down the line, in my opinion. However, I do think that if you can get this card in a BGS 9.5 or above, or a PSA 10, or even a PSA 9 over a BGS 9, then there could be greater potential for this card. Again, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I just really like this card personally. And a lot of times, if I'm a fan and I really enjoy a card, sometimes you can think, maybe others would also gravitate toward that card if you have a good gut feeling about it yourself as a fan and collector. Like that Terra Full Art card that I am a big fan of, I think this one has a bright future ahead of it as the years go by. Okay, that does it for part 2 of our top 10 Final Fantasy TCG eBay sales as of February 5th, 2022. Let me know your thoughts about these cards in the comments below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. I'm certainly looking forward to trying to keep you all updated on recent Final Fantasy sales. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.